Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. If you're new, hi, welcome. I'm Daniella Shama Rose. Nice to have you. Today, as usual, we are diving into the wonderful world of love. And specifically today, I want to talk about God's plan for love and how it just might surprise you like it did for me. Cozy up, grab a warm beverage, and let's have a girl chat. One thing that I want to talk about is that God often uses unlikely paths to lead us to love. I just tell you that I am a girl's girl. I love love. And I can think of nothing better than cozying up on the couch and watching a Hallmark movie. Especially around this time of year with a hot cup of hot chocolate in your hand and the snow coming down, or curling up even with a good Christian novel. Absolute favorite, by the way, is Bamboo and Lace by Lori Wick. It's so good. I must have read it like 100 times in my single season. So there you go. If you haven't heard of it, you're welcome. And so, being the diehard romantic that I am, I was dead set on meeting my husband in the most old school romantic way possible. None of this online dating app stuff. No way, that was not good enough. God would never be in that. It had to be in a coffee shop. He would see me, he would walk in and our eyes would meet and he would have to come over and introduce himself. Or on a missions trip, I envisioned us serving together and then falling madly in love, and maybe being from different nations, something super romantic like that. Let me tell you, God knows your heart and He knows your desire for romance. And He's gonna give it to you, girl. He's gonna knock your socks off. But likely, just a warning, it's not gonna be like how you envisioned. In fact, if I were you right now, I would pray to the Lord and say right now, Father, however you want to write my love story, I am down. And however, Lord, you want to bring in my hunky man, I am about it. You are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I hand over the pen to my love story right now. And then I want you to get excited and hopeful because He's writing your love story. He created you. He knows you better than anyone else. And He's gonna give you good gifts because you are His child and He loves you. Don't be like I was, okay, and put God in a box, because I can tell you now, I did not meet my husband in a coffee shop, and I didn't meet him on the mission field. I didn't meet him at church either. It may just happen how you least expect it to, or even how you were dead set against it happening, just saying. In the end, God's way is always best, so don't fight it. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Often brings love into our lives in ways that we wouldn't expect for ourselves. So get ready. Or two thing that I want to talk about is that God's love challenges our understanding of what we need. Okay, so I mentioned in my last video that I had a wish list of what I was asking God for in a husband. And yes, I do encourage you to make one of these and be very specific. But one of the things that I asked for was that he would have brown hair and blue eyes. That was my type. Well, my husband and I went on a very long hike for our first date. Yes, I understand that could have been a huge disaster, but thank goodness it wasn't, because God was in it. Amen. Anyways, when I saw him for the first time, I was so relieved that he did have blue eyes and brown hair with a little bit of silver in there. My husband is older than I am, and he does have a tiny bit of silver fox, and I dig it. But he wasn't my normal type. Despite having blue eyes and brown hair, he was different. Not bad different, obviously. I married him, just different. He wasn't like anybody I had dated in the past, and our conversation just flowed magically for the hours that we were hiking. And I literally felt like I was walking with my best friend that I had known for years. But despite all that, I didn't come home that day singing, "He's the one!" Like, the skies didn't open up and let me know he's the one. I didn't have that. I did have peace though. I didn't really have romantic feelings at all. Not until our second date. And that is why I'm so adamant on you giving the guy a second chance, or at least a second date. because you may be blocking a gift that God is trying to give you by not taking that second date. Please give the Lord time to work. So on our second date, we took my little dog on a walk in a park by my house. And we were just chatting about our day, having a little bit of chit chat. And then he reached over and grabbed my hand. I tell you, my heart did a little flip flop and I got butterflies. And it was then that I started thinking, okay, God, there might be more here. After that, we had a romantic dinner overlooking the water as the sun set, and it was just amazing. Again, I just had this overwhelming sense of peace. It was just easy, there was no pressure. And I love that he even came and sat beside me. You know how typically on a date you would sit across from each other? Well, he actually came around the table and sat beside me, and we were overlooking the sunset together, and we even did the 5 love languages test, and it turned out that we're the same love language. It was so fun. And so all of this to say that God knows what you need. And I think that Hollywood has so messed us up to think that we should have all these romantic feelings right away, and that your legs should pop when you kiss and all these things. And yes, there will be some form of all these things, but please be patient. Look for the sense of peace. Wait for love to blossom, and please give God a chance to work. Amen. From of old, no one is heard or perceived by the ear. No eye has seen a God besides you, who acts for those who wait for him. Just repeat the end of that verse again. Who acts for those who wait for him. Beloved, wait for him. He will act for you. Number 3 thing that I want to talk about is that God's plan for love may not look perfect, but it's perfectly designed for you. So often we expect love to come in this flawless package, right? Perfect timing, no conflict, no flaws. But I want you to keep in mind that God's plan for love may not match your ideals. Instead, God's plan is to grow and shape us. And sometimes this just comes in the form of challenges and imperfections. Listen, you are both coming into the relationship with different pasts, different experiences, different backgrounds, maybe different wounds. He's coming from a male perspective, you're coming from a female perspective. So even that part of a relationship has its challenges, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, that kind of a thing. It's okay that you don't agree on everything. It's okay that his relationship with the Lord looks different than yours. You're 2 different people. And that's part of the fun and mystery of 2 becoming one in marriage. Just look at Mary and Joseph. Did their love story go according to plan? Mary became pregnant before they were even officially married, which was a big no-no. They faced doubts, fears, even dangers from others. Joseph initially wanted to end their engagement quietly, but after hearing from the angel, he decided to trust God's plan despite the messiness of it all. But their love story, despite being far from perfect, was part of God's perfect plan to bring Jesus into the world. Love that. So in your own love story, you may face some ups and downs, some unexpecteds. And I just want you to be prepared that this is normal. God may very well bring you someone much older than you or younger than you, and they may not fit your ideal expectations or cross off every box on your list. But keep in mind that God uses these imperfections to refine us, to build resilience, and to teach us grace. So please don't just go throw it out with the bathwater because there's some bumps in the road. And of course, I'm not talking about any forms of abuse. But instead of looking for perfect circumstances or perfect relationships, look for how God might be shaping you through these imperfections, both in yourself and in others. Okay, there you have it. 3 ways that God's plan for love might just surprise you. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Blessings and love.